Good morning, traders. Welcome to live trading. Yes, Money Mitch is back and feeling at least healthy here. Not perfect, but really feeling good, ready to get at the market. Just want to let you guys know, if you're thinking about adding the benefits of AI to your trading, Vantage Point AI predictive software can help you forecast your stock, futures, forex, ETFs, and cryptos. Drop in the link now, guys, to check it out. Guys, if you want to go ahead and check it out, it's in the description below. Go ahead and check out Vantage Point. Let's go ahead and get live trading started today.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas law, that phrase.
Kiana.
Fisher.
Joy.
Joe. Cards drawn are the past, ones to come are future.
And the best part? It's beatable.
All right, traders, let's go ahead. Let's get after it. Like I said, definitely check it out, guys. This show is sponsored by Vantage Point AI, and let's bring on Ryan, Faloona, and Zunaid. What's going on, guys? It's good to see you. And I got to ask, how was the Indian food?
Oh my God, it was to die for. I had an amazing dinner last night. I'm not ordering tikka masala right now. Who was that? Dave? Was that Dave?
For breakfast? Why not?
Nope, not ordering tikka masala because I have some leftovers. It was delicious. I'm energized. I'm ready to go. Life is beautiful. Glad you're feeling better, Mitch.
Hey, glad to be here, guys. Glad to be here with the community out there. I'm seeing us growing. And one of the things that I would definitely say, if you guys have some friends that are traders and don't join us already, go ahead and let them know. You know, this is absolutely free. Yes, they can keep paying thousands and thousands to chat rooms if they'd like, or they could stick right here on Benzinga and catch us every single day live trading just like you guys are. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into the market. Let's go share some screens, guys. Let's look at some charts. What are you guys looking at out there in the world? What is there to trade? Is it another chop fest, or are we going to find a trend today?
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start. The stock that I'm going to watch is going to be TSM, right? They reported earnings this morning, something like 2 o'clock in the morning. Shares are trading higher after they reported better than expected Q4 EPS results and issued Q1 sales guidance above estimates. I do have to kind of poke through the transcript because I want to see if there's any type of hint on supply chain easing. Are there other stocks that this good report might affect? How is that going to actually carry the rest of tech? So that actually bleeds into what I'm watching here today. So you mentioned, are we going to chop around? I think that we probably will have some type of chop today, right? I'm looking at the VIX. We're at mid 17s. Every time we've got down to the low 18s, we've sold off a little bit. So looking at the futures here, let me pull it up on my screen. Looking at the futures here, we're up modestly on the futures. So it'll be interesting to see if we actually give these gains back. And then if we do we stay green? Do we go red? How are the indices going to do? I'm sure we're going to have some opportunities for some day trades, but as far as a trend, I just don't have all the data yet.
All right, we're going to go ahead and see what happens in TSM. Let's go to Zunaid now. You guys know the master of the YOLOs. What's going on out there, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's Chip City here on my side, right? You've got AMD here to the left. I'm looking for it to go ahead and break 140. You've got NVIDIA. I'm looking for it to possibly come on down and test this 181, 182 area. I'd love for you to come down and test 180 because that was kind of helpful for us on the dip buys that we had yesterday. And, of course, looking for TSM as well. Over 150. Let's go ahead and switch over to the daily on TSM real quick. All right, so it's all the way up here. All right, so it looks like the high is about 142, and I believe that might be all-time high. So if it can get over 140, I'd be surprised if we didn't at least test 142. And then if we get over that, 150 is where I'd want to be. But I don't think all that's going to happen today. I think 142, sure, why not? But I believe Delta also went ahead and had some reported earnings. You can see $41 is where the support lies in pre-market, if you will. Wicked once, twice, almost tried the third time and didn't quite get there. So if it comes down to their 50 cents or so, that could be a way to play it. You can see how well it held yesterday, around $40.60. But right now, we're going to try to play the bounce off of 41 if we get there. But those are the four main stocks. TSM again. Well, let's take a look at Tesla. I looked at this in pre-market to play it, but I woke up around 8 o'clock ish. All right, I didn't get the bounce here that I wanted. But basically, I'm looking for this $1,100 level. So I'm going to set an alert right here and let me know so that if I can get at least $5, $10 or so off of this $1,100 bounce, I mean, it's Thursday. Those contracts could give me, 30, 40%, maybe, just depends. Or even if it give me 25%, I'll be happy with that one. Lastly, let's take a look at DWAC. This one, the YOLOs that we purchased, I sold those at 100%. So I'm out of those just because, it's DWAC. I wasn't about to trust anything in my life with it. But you can see how it kind of tested once again. The lows around 63, and then it popped right back up and made its nice run around the $72 area. So I'll look to see it. I'll look to play it maybe off of the bounce or the rip over 72, but I'll be honest, it's not on my mind at the moment. Just keeping an eye on all the chips, Tesla, and of course Dallas. Excuse me, not Dallas. Delta.
Before Mitch goes and gives what he's watching, I'm trying to learn from the YOLO master myself, because to me TSM feels like an opportune YOLO opportunity out of the open. Zunaid, looking at this, first of all, am I even on the right track? Is this a potential YOLO? The way I'm looking at this for a particular trade today would be the 140 call that expires tomorrow, right?
So the 140, yeah, okay.
Because you had showed the chart earlier, that daily chart where it had come back down. Flip over to your daily real quick. It looks like it wants to kind of come back up and take out that high. Maybe we don't do it today, right? Maybe we don't do it today, but it looks like it actually wants to test that. We've got a great catalyst here. So I'm looking at the 140 call. I'm thinking maybe that's our YOLO opportunity. What do you think?
Your 140, yeah. Right now it's at $1, but I think that's because that's what it closed at yesterday. I don't know what this is going to open up at. I'll be honest. I haven't done the Greeks and all that to calculate it. I would more so lean towards. It just depends. Like if you're going to try to YOLO it, I want to YOLO something that's a little bit out of the money. So if it's already near 50 cents in the money of that contract, I might want to grab it at 141, 142, simply because then it gets a little bit cheaper in case it is going to be a true YOLO. If that makes sense, right? Because this 140, it could open up at $3-4. And, it depends on account size and all of that. But I would lean a little bit more towards out of the money, because if we're hoping for this to go ahead and test like 142s, let me grab a 142. Let me grab a 143, because that'll help with the Delta and the Greeks to kind of give me a little bit more juice on that.
Yeah, it sounds like you're controlling your risk by selecting an option that has a lower premium, so that if it goes against you, you're not in it. Okay.
Yeah, because with the YOLO, you're looking, at least for me, with the YOLO, I'm looking for higher percentage gains, if you will, which then translates to the dollar amount that I'm putting in, which is why I prefer a little bit out of the money. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because I will absolutely be keeping an eye on any options that come in for NVIDIA, AMD, and especially TSM.
Awesome.
All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some of the trades out there. I'm going to be looking at DDS to see if we can continue on the way up, starting to push on up here. I'll also be looking at Lucid. But like always, guys, one thing we're going to definitely be doing is trying to get that.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Hey, that's what it's about, guys. Money Mitch, baby. Let's get it going, guys. Let's look at what we're going to find. Lucid, can we get it going again? Yesterday, we got a big breakout, pushed on up there, up to 47. Can we get back on up there? Looking at a sideways trend right now at 45. I think you could get a test to 45 and then a test right back on up here. Let's take a look at the pre-market look. 5-minute has this chart kind of getting on up here, trying to hold the 45, push up to 46. I think this is definitely one that you keep in play, and it has been one that's strong in a weak environment. So definitely keep Lucid on watch today. We'll see what happens in that. Now, of course, JB had an awesome day yesterday and an awesome last couple of days. I'm actually going to be looking for shorts on JD. They'll be coming back down towards 70. This, I think, is just extended way too far. So we're going to take a look at the hourly chart and look for a breakdown here of the support through 74. If we get a pop up to 75 and then the flush, that's good too. We just don't want it to get past 75 on the upside. Would love to see it just kind of reject and get through that 74. I think we could head to 70 today. All right, guys. I also want to mention that we will be having Nic Chahine joining us here, guys, live, and they will be coming in at 10:30. So stick around, guys. We're going to have an options, and I'll say expert here because none of us are experts compared to Nic Chahine, definitely. So if you guys want to stick around and get some advice, well, not some advice, but at least get some stocks covered by Nic Chahine, I'll definitely be going through that at 10:30. So stick around, and it's going to be an awesome day. Not only do we have Nic Chahine on at 10:30, but on Benzinga Live, we're going to be having in our office live Al Harrington. If you guys don't know who Al Harrington is, just stick around. A little bit after some trading action, I'll show you guys a little bit of highlight videos from Al, and you guys can see exactly who Al is.
Hell yeah, Mitch. You know, real quick, shameless plug here. I've actually learned a lot from Nic. Obviously, Nic works with us, and I have to communicate with him on that. I have asked him a number of questions about different option trades. We did a webinar together where he actually placed a trade live. Nic is an excellent resource. I'm super excited to have him on here. I'm hoping that today is a show that is not soon forgotten.
Yeah,
as they say out there, Nic is the stud. We'll definitely be having him on, and I'm sure he's going to come with the energy that he normally has. So just stay tuned, guys. Get ready. We're getting towards the bell. One thing that I do want to do today, though, is on our Benzinga Twitter, guys, we actually have been asking people what stocks and cryptos you're watching today. So if you guys ever get a chance to take a look at that, definitely take a look, guys. So let's go ahead. Let's see what stocks people are watching right now. All right, so we got a couple of course, BBIGs, sundials, AMC being mentioned out there. So definitely we're going to keep watching out there to see what happens and keeps moving on the day. But I would watch, you see, Lucid. I'm not the only one, right? Watching, right? And even a Floki mentioned here, guys. So we'll see what happens there.
Look how many likes the Floki has, too.
Yeah. The Floki got 8 likes, guys, and more BBIG. So as we can tell, guys, BBIG definitely going to be one of the top players, at least watched today, right? Doesn't mean that it's going to be making big moves, but does mean that it is going to be on radar. Let's take a look here. How this play is kind of working out here. Big level for me is $3, right? We're getting towards that $3 resistance, but we could break out above that. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the hourly chart. You can see here hourly support at 275. One thing that I would start drawing is a trend line to see when we could possibly break. So to me, I think we've gone up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3 on this Harmy candle. Now we can't break that Harmy low, which is 276. So to me, if as long as it holds 276, you're still looking for that upside move through 3. And this one might shoot right out the gates through that 3. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to be looking for a little bit more of a pullback towards 280s to see if I can get in on a wick at 275 and then close right back above 280s. That's BBIG, guys. We'll see if we're able to nail this trade.
You know, I want to go ahead and bring on a little bit of different, go back, circle back, recap, whatever you want to call it. So Ryan,
don't want you to be saying circle back. Let's just get that out there. Now,
let's circle back. Let's circle back next week. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Obviously, like I eat Indian food, like I grew up on it, things like that. But here's what I found from Trader Joe's, Ryan. It's this butter chicken right here from Trader Joe's. And this is no plug. I'm not getting paid anything for this. But Trader Joe's butter chicken takes like 5 minutes in the microwave. You get it done, right? But here's the thing. You're not done yet. Then you go ahead and sprinkle on, because I'm a true Indian, and Indians love to do this as far as I know.
I'm a fake Indian, so I'm glad that you threw that out there. Clearly,
you got to throw some chips in there, right? Chester's, hot fries, get a little spicy with it. You got to throw that in there. But hold on. If you eat right now, you should also go ahead and put some Texas Pete in that bad boy. And that's how you really fire up the insides of your body. And make sure you only do this on the weekends, because this combination may have you call out of work. You know what I mean?
And just think, I was the poor sap that ordered from the restaurant. Good calls, Zunaid.
I'm just saying, here's why, right? Because I get, you know, my mom told me this. She's like, Beta, you went ahead and paid $16 for that meal that I make at home for like $3.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Man. Wow. But no, seriously though, anytime, and it's also healthy, right? I mean, healthy as, you know, we can get, if you will. But I'm gonna go put this back.
Good idea. Don't let that thaw.
Very nice, guys. I see you out there, guys. Doing good, doing good. We'll go ahead. Look at Zunaid. He hopped on out of here. He'll be right back. He probably went to go eat
Put
some
the
of those
food back in his
leftovers.
freezer. Yeah, that's what happened.
All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at the chat comments of loving everybody enjoying the day. That's what it's all about here on Live Trading with Benzinga. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let's get to some stocks. TQQQ. You're still looking at it kind of inverse, Rano? All right, we can take a look at it. How is the TQQQ?
One note on the ProShares. If you went to the ProShares website, you'll know that as of this morning, some of them did splits. I actually think the positive ones were split yesterday, and the bear ones will reverse split today. So, and if you're using movers, you'll probably notice that it says they're up 400%. They're not. It was just a split. The team's working on correcting that, but it's just something to keep in mind. These actually like to split before they move. So this is kind of, since the bear ones did the reverse split that's being reflected today, this is kind of something else that almost a pattern, not necessarily a cause and effect, but a pattern that I've noticed we might sell off just a little bit today.
Yeah, it happens. It's normal. And that's why you don't hold these overnight. A lot of these are rebalanced every single day, right? And so if the rebalancing is going to come into play, you got to be careful when you're holding these. But definitely 2-to-1 split there. That's what I'm reading at least from my charting service here. We'll see what happens on TQQQ. But let's go ahead. Let's keep going to maybe some other stocks that are out there. SOC L. I haven't heard this one being mentioned.
That's the chip one, right?
Look at you doing leverage, Larry. Can't blame you. Semiconductor play here right out the gates. We'll see what happens on that one, but it's not a bad looking play there. I'll tell you the truth. I would keep an eye on 70. I think you could get a push to 70 right out the gates here.
I mean, look at that. TSM already over 140, tested about 141, and those options on E-Trade still haven't repriced just yet.
Here we go. Now they're repricing for me.
I'm still waiting on my side. Tesla looks like it's going to go ahead and test at 1100. And yep, see those options. I mean, they're spready as goddamn anything, but they're trading about $3 on the ask right now.
Yeah. So
I'm going to wait.
Yeah. I was just thinking after watching the price action, I think I want to wait. I'd love to see this come in, frankly, right? That would be
absolutely
ideal. And here we go. So let's see how far we can come in. If it comes in, it holds 140. To me, that's super bullish.
Yeah.
All right, guys. BBIG did a little fake out move towards 299. Didn't hold above their 3. I did see some sellers step up there at 299, and that's probably why it turned around a little bit here. I'm looking for a pullback to get in, but if it breaks through 3, I possibly could get in also here. But I'm looking at the level 2 and the time in sales to see any big buyers or sellers here. So stock like BBIG, I'll even sort my time in sales, not by 1,000, but by 2,000. Why? Because I need to see big orders, like 11,000 shares right now at 298. Those are the orders that I want to be paying attention to.
All right, TSM feels like it's going to go here. It didn't pull back.
Yeah,
I was hoping. I was actually.
It didn't even test the 140.
No, and Zunaid, per your advice before we started here, I was actually looking at the 142 call that expires yesterday. Was looking to get that at 150 even. Never really came down there. I saw a 150 bid at one point. It was quickly bid over. I don't have an active order out. I'm just kind of watching this now. Definitely don't want to chase here. This is when I lose on YOLOs. What ends up happening is that I'm chasing too much and I'm overpaying. Yeah. And Zunaid, your lesson yesterday, your trade yesterday with NVIDIA almost felt like that at the beginning, but because you went so small, you added on the dip and then ended up profiting on both legs.
And that's the thing. If I know that, hey, in total, I want to have 5 contracts in the beginning, I'll go ahead and buy 2. That way I can enjoy the ride in case it doesn't dip down. Then when it comes, I'll go ahead and get another 3. But yeah, NVIDIA coming on down a little bit. I mean, TSM now at $142.
Yep. TSM ran away from me.
Yeah, same here. Nothing here at all. But let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla real quick. $1,100 level. Didn't quite get there, but it did go ahead and bounce right before. You can see it was at the lowest was about a 1102, and it's kind of trying to figure out what it wants to do with its life. We'll see how that one reacts. But again, NVIDIA, you know what? Let's take a look at NVIDIA at an earnings play. I rarely do this, at least in terms of the chat. Let's see, and of course, anybody interrupt me if you're taking a trade, but let's see when NVIDIA is reporting earnings. believe it's
All
like
right, just
February
wanna
17th. Go ahead.
Call out here BBIG over
Yeah,
3.
BBIG running through 310. Saw the same thing, Mitch. Nice call.
Man, it's always crazy when you try to play these earnings run up. You got to cough up money because the IV is kind of there as well. But we'll go ahead and grab one of these. This is going to be, yeah, again, manage your risk on this one. I'm going to go ahead and grab the $300 calls on NVIDIA for February 18. All right, and I went ahead and paid $10.52. I literally just bought one just so we can have a little bit of fun, trial and error, show you guys if it worked or not. So this is more of a guinea pig trade for me, if you will, because I really have the mentality of go cash at the end of the day. It just helps me sleep better. But anyway, NVIDIA, $300 calls expiring February 18th. Matter of fact, when Nick is on, see what he thinks about playing NVIDIA for earnings run up. I'm sure that man has a lot more expertise on it than I do. So it'll be interesting to get his take as well.
Yeah, I'm working on bringing on him a little bit earlier just because I saw the chat reaction and you guys want him on. We'll definitely do our best to get him on a little bit earlier today. We'll see when he gets on, but who knows? Maybe he catches some action with Ryan and Zunaid. You guys smash the like button. There's over 721 people in this chat. Hit the like. Raquel knows. I appreciate the love, Ruby. And let's keep going out there, guys. So BBIG looking for VWAP bounce play. And I'm going to Ryan now.
That's exactly. You literally took the words out of my mouth, man. I don't know how you did that. You're obviously feeling better. That's really cool. I was watching BBIG to come back in towards the VWAP here. I have a VWAP reading of 3.02, right? So I'd be looking to play this for a VWAP bounce if we can actually get down to that level. Haven't seen it yet. Like seeing this pull, though, right? 2 vertical prior to this pullback here.
Yep, we talked about potentially the 3 breakout, right? You could have played that one already and maybe got a little quick scalp into the open. One thing to note, 20,000 shares added at 308. That's showing people are willing to step up in the stock. As you can see it right back to the highs. It didn't even come to the VWAP here. So I'm looking for a VWAP touch still. I'm not trying to overextend and buy the high, but that's just because I'm not a scalper here.
Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and try to test my luck here. I'm going to go ahead and grab some Tesla call options. I'm going to buy the 1150 expiring this week. Got a couple of different fills. I got one at 510 and at 535 on Tesla. And again, if you look at my chart here on the right-hand side, you see that $1,100 balance, boing, right back up. Now, we want this to go above VWAP and close. We've got about 4 minutes left on that first 10-minute candle. I wanted to go ahead and close above that VWAP and then continue its first test towards the 115 area is what I want to see. But again, as always, watch me lose money instead of trying to risk your own. Grab your popcorn. It's much cheaper that way.
All right, JD looking weak. Remember I talked about how potentially that was a short right out the gates, right? Look how this has already gone through the 74. Now I'm going to look for a pullback to that 74 to get short on. It need to get towards that level so I can use this 74.12 as a resistance and then get short on it. We'll see if I can nail this JD on the short side.
Still watching BBIG here. Bids are in. Right, bids are in. It definitely wants to take out that 322 spot. We got a day high here of 320. I still have not been able to buy this. I'm trying to be as disciplined as possible, waiting for this to come into the to the VWAP, and I'm doing everything in my power not to chase this thing right now. I know it doesn't look like it, but trust me, I'm doing everything in my power not to chase.
Same here, right? I mean, I was looking at it for the 3 breakout, but I didn't want to just play the scalp because I had a feeling it could come back down to 290s. What I'm doing is I put it on a 5-minute. So I'm no longer watching it on a 1 minute because I don't want to overreact to the moves.
I have a VWAP spot now of 305. So the selling, or excuse me, the buying here is obviously walking that VWAP value up. JD's saying, I bought calls for BBIG yesterday. Hopefully you trim and trail on those. Michael Steven, yes, awesome. Ryan, you know what's up. Hey, man, we talk about the VWAP here every day. We're just trying to wash, rinse, and repeat, my friend.
Yeah, you've got, let's see, TSM, just nothing there. Look at that, 144s now is what it's tested earlier. Still in the Tesla trade, obviously, no reason for me to get out just yet. I feel like if it breaks 1095 or so, I'd go ahead and get out and take my 30-40% loss.
Starter JD, short side. Looking to add here.
Sorry. Those TSM calls we were looking at, the 142s, bid now 350. We were looking at them at 150, so that's over 100% on that. Bummer we're unable to get filled. Just a little too slow this morning.
Yeah.
All right. Just want to call out stocks from the chat. There's XPH. Yes, I know that one was doing good. KBH, homing play out there. STLD. After hearing Mitch and Chris talk about it, yeah, I do like that play, guys. That's one of my swing trade looks. That's STLD. We'll see how that moves today. It is moving on up above VWAP. That looks interesting now. We'll see what happens in this one. I'm still trying to add here in JD. Let me see if I get my ad here, but I'm looking for a short here off 74.12s. So I'll show you guys that chart right now. As JD right here, I got my first starter. I want to add to this and then knock it right back down here. Okay, it's not getting above that 74. I had an order out at 74.04 to add, but it hasn't filled. I might have to add on a bounce right here to 85s.
BBIG still consolidating here.
All right, there you go, guys. I hit the ad, and now I'm looking for a knockdown below 74s.
We're going to have a little bit more fun. I'm going to go ahead and grab an AMD $142 call expiring this week. Again, small size because it is a riskier trade. It got filled at $1.34.
All right, guys, around 9:45 if we get to the likes. So one thing I want to measure is our like game today. We're at 172. We need to get 300 likes. And guess what, guys? I'll get Nick on as soon as you guys get to 300 likes. So if you guys want to go ahead and smash that like to get Nick on, go ahead and hit it up.
And I know go ahead, Ryan.
TCAT bust through 4 so fast I couldn't even flip to my chart fast enough. Looks like it's going to halt here at 410. So TCAT, this is an NFT name, into a halt at 410.
Real quick, I am going to set a limit alert out at $5.90 for 3/4 of my contracts on Tesla, and the rest I'm going to let it ride. I'll let you guys know as soon as it's filled. But put your limits out there because with Nick coming on, we want to make sure that we give you guys limits and all that beforehand. Manage your trade, manage your risk, but 590 or so is where I'm looking to get out on 3/4 of my contract on Tesla.
Like for Nick. They wanted it out there. Smash on up. I'll take a look at the likes as long as we can get there. I'll bring them on. There's 226. We need 75 more, a little bit under 70 more. Let's go ahead. Get on up there, guys. If you got the iPad and the boss is looking, tell him to look the other way and smash that like.
Oh, man.
If TSM can come down to like the 142.50s, I'd be interested.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you what about my JD trade.
Wow, I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't.
That's reminiscent of the gopher dance from Caddyshack, Mitch. I absolutely love that.
Let's see what happens on that JD short today. I'm looking for a knockdown right back down to the low of the day. We'll see if we get that knockdown on JD. What's going on out there, Zunaid, man?
Man, I'm waiting for this Tesla to come on right on up above 1110. And then you can see an AMD on my left-hand side, waiting for this to continue its march after it gets over VWAP. So it's got to get over VWAP, which is around 140 area. And TSM said, screw you, I'm not making you money today. Just look at this. Continuation from the get-go, from the pre-market momentum. Just didn't have a good risk reward for me. Therefore, I could not get in that one.
We don't worry about copy strikes here, man. Don't worry about that, Tiny. No need to worry about copy strikes.
Where are we at? Likewise, I'm ready for Nick.
I know. I'm looking at it. We need what? 43 more, guys. 43 more, guys. You guys smash that like button. Support us as we're going to go ahead and bring on the master, the one and only. Like on up, guys. I need some Nick. I can't breathe, man.
I'll put it to you guys this way. If we get 400, Mitch will go bald for tomorrow's show.
What?
Well, actually, we don't have a show tomorrow, but Monday, whatever.
Definitely, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's see what's going on out there. Is it getting squeezy? Let me know if you guys see a squeeze out there in the stocks game. I'm definitely looking at this BBIG pulling back here. Now it's starting to get back there, Ryan. I don't know if you're looking at that one.
I'm watching it. We're under VWAP here. It looks a little heavy with on the ask side. But if we can actually hold here and kind of reverse through VWAP, might have a trade on.
Only 10 more likes, guys. Who wants to see Nic Chahine? Guys, come on, guys. It's time.
It's time to do.
Long BBIG here, 312.
Nice.
Ooh, my boy stepping up to the plate there, BBIG, guys. If you could put that chart on your TKAT, appreciate it.
You got
What
it.
are you
All right,
looking
looks
for?
like we just hit the light game. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's do this right now. Let's bring on the one, the only Nic Chahine. What's going on?
Who wants to see this face in the morning? It's like dark o'clock here. I'm in
Dark o'clock. I'm going to reuse that. I'm just telling you right now. I'm going
I
to
like
reuse
that.
dark o'clock. I love that.
You guys are way too fast. I needed to refill my monster. So
Hey, that's the only way we know how.
So I'm looking at BBIG, and for a swing trade, fine. But if you're buying it intraday, but if you're buying it, like if you expand to the 30-minute, it's definitely a pass failing zone. So make sure you know your time frame when you're investing. But you guys are on it. I'm watching this pretty exciting stuff.
All right, guys, about to take some profit. JD, low of the day here. All right, just took it off there at 50s. Just didn't want to for a couple cents there for the low of the day. Not a bad trade so far. Short on JD working out here. Let's see if this can continue on the downside. We just took some profit there at 73.50s. We're going to look to continue it down.
We've got Ryan's BBIG helping set some losses off for my Tesla trade. All right, way to go, Ryan.
So, yep, no problem. I actually just took some profit there on BBIG. 322 was that spot earlier that we took out, unable to hold on the back test. So I took my gains there. I will wait for this to reset up. If we do get another VWAP cross play right there, I'll just scalp it again. So not a huge trade here, but green on the screen early. So.
All right. So what I want to do here now is go ahead and bring in Nic and talk about what really Nic has to offer for us. Nic doesn't only kind of just look at options, guys. He's not just an options trader, or some call him the option junkie. But he does actually do a mentorship program with us where he live trades daily trades picks, posts them up in the chat room, 2.5 hour weekly charting session covering over 100 companies. This guy's a beast. So Nic, is there any chart out there that is kind of sticking out to you right now? Maybe you want to bring in a trade for us?
So I'm a little bit slower than you guys, but I do cover the fast trades for my group. So what we're doing is we're actually live streaming all day, 8 hours.
Awesome.
I'm open here before the market open. I prep it. And so we're focusing on the indices. So I usually share either the ETFs or the indices themselves, so SPY, SPX, whichever you prefer. And like for now, I'm on the slower side, slightly slower moves than you. I'm watching how we're going to act today with the SPY versus yesterday's high. So I'm going to, what was it, 473.20 or so on a somewhat slower perspective. If you beat that, then you can have the spirit of a neckline that looks like a cup and handle or whatever that could get you to 477, maybe 480. So, but the point is, if the bears figure out that the bulls are in charge or not. So what do I mean? So when you have an ascending trend, the machines will buy dips systemically. So every dip will become a bear trap. And if the bears don't figure that out, and the opposite is true, when you have a trending down day, every pop becomes a potential trap for somebody who goes, oh, this is it, this is it, this is it. Well, don't anticipate it until you get the bottom or you get the top. And there are lines for that. And like this is what's maybe happening in the SPY. Yesterday's swoon, higher lows, attacking that neckline from yesterday. So that could be somewhat of a fast/slower paced trade that normal people can accomplish. You can do that in stock. You can do that in options. You can use this week's contracts or next, or some calendars or diagonals and things like that. So this is what we kind of do. And if somebody says, I've had about 200 people in there every day, all day, 180 to 205. So imagine their watch list, and somebody says, hey, watch out, Shopify, that was a trade. Affirm, somebody mentions it, boop, we'll pop on it. Baba 2 days ago. So, but what you can't do is overstay your welcome. I saw you guys scalped out. That's how you have to do it. There are no guarantees overnight anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a selfish request for a ticker. Can I give a ticker?
Sure, go.
All right,
I'm
before
looking.
you do, hold
Go
on.
ahead.
Before you do that, Zunaid, I just wanted to give a shout out to Nick here. It was from JD. He wanted to give a shout out that he's in the options. Here it is. Hi,
Oh,
Nick.
very cool.
Options Ultimate subscriber here. Thanks for the work you do on the recommendations. So JD,
cool.
definitely giving you a shout out there. As
Cool.
being one of the subscribers, I also threw in the link there, a 35% off of Nick's option mentorship program. So check it on out, guys.
You know what else is really cool, Nick, is that Jeff has actually brought the knowledge he's learned from your program to our happy hour show.
Oh,
and we'll often talk about different spreads that he's put on for different instruments and different trades he's taken.
Right
really
on.
awesome to see the growth. Really,
Right
really
on.
cool.
I'm tracking your JD trade, so you have a descending trend, right?
You see that,
well,
right?
listen. If you put an arrow down on a 1 minute, just a 1 minute,
Mm-hmm.
you have lower highs banging on a floor.
Yup.
The floor almost gave way with a little poke down to 73.28.
You got that.
So
what
as
I saw?
long as that descending arrow is alive, you can stay short.
Exactly. And one of the things that I saw was that 73.96, 25,000 shares.
Watch it.
Through the
In
bid.
3, 2, and then it's gonna. If you lose that little floor you just made on 28, you may have. Isn't there a gap below there? If I look
let's
left,
take a look here.
look left and see. You might be able to reinitiate it.
Yeah, there is a little gap here.
Yep. So keep it on the watch. Good job doing it.
We were looking for a move down to 70. So we'll see what
as,
happens.
as long as the pops are being sold by machines, they won't change until you get a bottom.
Exactly.
And the bottom happens when you first of all stop making lows, and then you build higher lows, and then you beat the lower high trend. They come to blows at one point, and then that's the inflection point.
All right, we'll see if we can crush down and get through that low. If not,
what
then
was
of
the
course
other
we'll
ticker you
take the
said you
profit.
wanted?
We were looking at BBIG. That was one that definitely today. Now coming back to VWAP here, but after the third attempt here, I'm not so positive on this one now. But I think Ryan's in this one. Are you?
No,
still
I'm out of it. This is actually a great lesson here. Okay, I'm actually out of this one, and I was out on the 322 spot, which we identified.
306 is important. Otherwise, you might get to 299.
306 was the first VWAP bounce spot that I tried to wait to. It actually never got back in there. So when it came back in the second time, I was able to pick it up. When we traded back up to 322, it was very, very clear that it felt pretty heavy. That was the key spot in the first run up that we popped through. So I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to wait this out. I'm not going to let this trade go red on me. I'm going to take the gains and wait for another setup. Look what happened after I exited.
I think your battle right now is 306, the floor, versus a descending lower high trend, which I'm going to estimate somewhere around 316. They're going to try to sell it there. If they can, then you should watch it. If it goes back down to lose first sign 307 and then 306. If those fail, then it's probably going to go down to 299. And if so, there's a little gap there that might be a little magnet. So what happens on the pop? You need to know who's in control of the action at what time frame. I'm just looking at the 1 minute. And so on this little pop that it just had, you want to see what happens at the 315. If they naturally, the machines will try to sell it somewhere around there because it's a moving target versus the non-moving targets, which are the floors, 307 and 306.
All right, they're kind of battling still on JD, but I'm still holding above. Big thing for me, above 73.50s, we could just probably take the rest of it off, but we're still looking for it to battle. It went down to 73.25. We'll see if it can continue moving there. All right, now another one that I'm taking a look at for today is STLD here. I'm looking for a pullback to VWAP now, but I do like the way this is setting on up here, guys. I'll put the chart up here. STLD. This is a steal play. So I don't know if you know this one, Nick.
I know the company. I don't trade it, so it's kind of like an island on a 5 minute here. There's a gap, and it's just trading up in an island. So the biggest bear it had was the second target on some sort of a harmonic on the 5 minute chart. So I won't take credit for the harmonic. That's the one from Scott Carney on TradingView. I just use it. I don't remember all the relationships, so no need to reinvent the wheel. Use the wheel that somebody invented. So 62.90.
Do you want to share your charts maybe so that we can see that?
I can.
Yeah, that way they don't see my charts.
Share screen. Share screen.
We got all our screens shared. This is the fun part of this show. We rock back and forth. Ryan to Zunaid to then. We're gonna go get the one and only, the Nic
I
Chahine
think this is
charts.
it. Let me see. Allow. Where am I? Is it on?
All right, there you have it.
Okay,
Boom.
that's what I'm
Got
looking
it.
at.
There
So
you
you
go.
see, this bear is what you need to look at. This big red bear.
All right, guys.
That should have satisfied this pattern. So you
Out
can
of JD.
maybe build up. So for me, since I am not that fast of a trader, I would watch for a breach of the fail up here, and then you may have 65.
It's looking strong, at least bouncing up there. Let's take a look at maybe some of the sectors that are moving and some of the stocks that are moving out there right now.
Real quick, I'm gonna give an update on my trades just so we can move on from that one. You've got AMD on the left hand side. That 139 bounce is supposed to grab a couple more. I was hoping for this 10-minute candle to close above VWAP. So far, it's looking pretty ugly. TSM came down to VWAP, and we said if it would, we'd grab some calls. So I got a couple of calls there. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I got the 144 calls expiring this week for about $2 simply because of that VWAP test. We love those bounces. We know that. And then on Tesla, still in this trade, Theta's kicking me left and right, but that's okay. That 1100 hasn't quite broken yet. I'm hoping for this 10-minute candle to close above VWAP. And Nick, for you, I've got a ticker request. I am looking. We already purchased it, but I need a confirmation bias from you because I would love to go ahead and nail this NVIDIA trade for an earnings run-up. They report earnings on February 17th. So I went ahead and grabbed the February 18th $300 calls. Feel free to tell me if it was an ugly strike, an ugly decision. I have no problem taking criticism. What are your thoughts if I want to play an earnings run up on NVIDIA, especially with TSM reporting as well as they did?
Okay, so I had a note to myself to trade the semis off of TSM. So you and I are thinking the same thing. So NVIDIA is a great company. I like the stock here. This little red box I drew this morning. I thought that range was interesting. So this is your range right now that's unfolding on a 5-minute chart. Managing a long into an earnings report is pretty nice because it gives you the opportunity to exit without having to live through the wild binary reaction to the earning itself. I think the stock market is much more bullish than people believe it. So what's the number one scary thing right now? Inflation. Or actually, they're scared of the Fed. Who cares about inflation? We are still spending like idiots. So people are afraid of the Fed. And why is that? Because the economy is too good. How is that bearish? The economy is too good. It's not bearish. It's like having the dream team and say you can only score this many points. So people who are shorting just because we're this high, I think are making a mistake. So you have good odds on your favor. Manage your levels. And you what time frame did you buy? What expiration?
I went ahead and bought the $300 calls expiring February 18th, which is the day after they report.
Okay, so see if you can grab some diagonals or calendars against it. Meanwhile, so you can sell assets against your assets. So if I own a call, I can sell a covered call, which is basically a calendar. Or if you go higher in level or lower in level, then you make it diagonal. You can go lower in level and you create some sort of a credit risk. But if you're good with your levels, that's the best way to do it. But you need to know charts. I don't mind it at all. I mean, the company is not cheap. AMD is much cheaper. They both grow fast. AMD grows faster. The cheapest one is Intel. I thought Intel was a buy a few weeks ago and turned out that was a good case. Intel is bigger than both of them put together twice over. So Intel is the monster that they're trying to chase down.
And I'll wrap it up with this. If you mentioned AMD. AMD does report earnings on the 1st of February, I believe. So if you guys wanted to try and play that earnings run up, you can definitely do that on AMD. And again, that calendar strategy, right? Go ahead and buy a call and then sell some short dated ones against it. Could work out for sure. Appreciate the insight.
Absolutely.
I will report back.
Yep, definitely. Good luck with that. But the earnings are just a crapshoot.
Yeah, I definitely want to sell it well before. No question about it.
Yeah. Have you thought about selling puts or put spreads so you don't have to buy shares?
I haven't. I'll be honest. That's something that I got to learn from you because I am not that great.
If you're solid with your level and you believe with the upside, if you sell the put spread, you don't even need an upside. So imagine getting a credit, using some of that to buy the upside. So your entry point is even much lower than your call. So but you have to be solid with your level. Otherwise, you lose on both ends.
Yeah. I'll look into that. I might test it out with one contract just to get my feet wet, if you will.
Indeed. So watch the IWM versus the high of the day. I'm pointing at my upper screen. 219.38 prior day high, and it was a massive fail. And it's a hated sector. So watch for that and see how it pings against the SPY number I just gave you, this one. That is a trade you can grab to here, 477 to 480. I don't know how they're going to treat this pattern right there. Is that a cup and handle? Is that a wonky thing? Whatever it is, let's say we ignore this. And so from here to here, how many points? That's how many points you're going to get up here with a shelf of, you know, resistance from 476 on. 476.85 would be a good place to scalp out.
I like it. Like your charts look like I'm staring at stars with like the patterns that you have, but it clearly also defines like where support is, where resistance is, because you talked about, right? That gives you areas to get out, to scale in, whatever.
I'm speaking to you guys, but I have 170 people right now looking at these screens, so they're wondering what the hell is going on. What is this guy doing? He's popping through. And where did STLD come from? We are not looking at STLD.
Right? I love it. I love it.
I'll mention one that's a big mover today, Ford. How's that?
Oh, my God. Don't. Okay,
make them go crazy.
Joke. Oh, my God. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty good one. So I recommended Ford at 7, and there's no way on earth I would recommend it here. From an investment perspective, as a trading perspective, yes. But look, it's out of the box. Yep. And yeah, you can't short this. It's enthusiasm, but as an investment, no way. As a trade, absolutely, you go with the flow.
All right, guys, watching BBIG, I would like to try to wash out one more time to the $3 and then recover. If it could try to wash out towards that 3 and recover with some volume, I would look at
BBIG, watch out for the sellers. Have they picked up the reins? If they have, you can short it below this line right there.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens on the pop is what you want to see. So this level is important right there, which is 13. And see if they do a U-turn like this. So what they might be able to do is fail at this 13 level and come back down here in a stutter step. And then that's eyeball where you can go. So you'll get these 3. And that's target 2 of that pattern.
Going along with that, it looks like that is probably what's going to happen here. The volume continues to dry up in this name. It was the highest, you know, just a couple of minutes after the open. Let's see, 940. It was at the highest. Since then, it's just started to lighten up. And as long as if that volume continues to lighten up, I think the plan that Nick drew here is what's going to end up playing out.
Right. So this would be the trigger is 13 above, and this one would be the way it would happen. So that is one trigger, and that is, but you can't anticipate it. You have to see, because if they get here and they get above that whole scenario is gone. Maybe it happens from a higher level. So you watch all day for this, put an alert, and if it triggers, then you can chase it down. What happened to JD?
I got out.
Look, okay. But look at it. It's still, the bear is still going.
Yeah, it was still fighting.
The bear is still going, and I just moved the level. And if you take this out, you're going to get more downside.
You could scalp it down.
Where the hell? Look, that is a pretty weak spot right there.
Yep. And one of the things is the stock was really extended in the last couple of days.
So this is where the pros and the amateurs separate. Who's in control of the price action? This arrow right here is making you the money. Upticks mode, I call it. You cannot trust upticks when this is happening. So the upticks will trap more people, and it comes down to battle after battles on levels. And this level fails, then the thing continues, and that's how you get trend days.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree with that. You know, one of the things that Nick is also mentioning there is how the psychology comes into play also with the algos kind of up there. And that's what stopped me out. I mean, let's just be honest. It's that uptick that gets you a little concerned about it taking off. But as long as you can stick with the levels, like Nick is saying, then you can knock it down and stay with the trade.
You know, I'm taking a look here. If you want to throw my charts up for a second, I'm taking a look at TSM because we have those lottos, if you will, on a shorter term trade. If as soon as there you go, look at this. It's like knocking on 145. It obviously has come down about $1 here, but it's like knocking on that 145, trying to break it, just hasn't been able to. That's the 1 minute. Going to the 5 minute, obviously you'll see the same type of action. But you've got VWAP on the 10 minute on TSM around this area. What's up?
Look at that. Look at that. They don't make lines like these often.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Appreciate you, Mitch, for not putting my charts, but that's exactly what I'm saying, right? That knock at 145
I got you. I got
literally
you.
right there. And it's like, it's just knocking. And here, tell me if this is true.
Candles are important right there. So watch what happens somewhere around 143.9, 143.8, whatever.
Would you say that it is attractive to the long side if you see candles similar to what we're seeing at TSM on the 145, kind of being a magnet?
Well, if they take them out, you get a second leg higher. That's all there is to it. But that is pretty rough. Let's see.
It is.
Let's see.
I'm feeling it.
This is if you're watching several. Let's say you're the one person trading all three charts we just mentioned: BBIG, TSM, and JD. You would put on an alert and go manage the other one. Put on an alert, we'll go manage the other one. If that pops, if you're fast enough, you may be able to get 146.50.
Yeah.
So you want to see who's in control. Clearly, the bull is in control here, and you want to see if they let go of the reins. So here they just dropped the reins on the floor. The bears didn't pick it up yet. So the reins are on the floor. Who wants them? So this is where you start looking. Okay, so we have some sort of a trend this way. Are the bears going to try to do this? And your line clearly is that. And these are so this combined with this tells me that I don't know. Maybe it's done this thing. How much up is it today? 9%. Watch it though. I mean, it's pretty rough to be trying to short something this strong.
We're definitely not shorting it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see BBIG. Look at that. It's going along our lines perfectly. That's what we do all day, by the way. Oh, life. This is not a trend line, by the way. This is a behavior line. So it's not like I'm trying to match up.
Right.
I don't trade trend lines. I trade levels. But I believe this is no fake out. These are fake outs. There's no fake out in levels. You lose a level, you lost it. So this is a behavior.
Definitely. Let's go ahead. Let's take a second here, guys. Like always, guys, do me the favor, smash that like, hit the subscribe bell. We're going to go ahead and take a quick pause here. We'll be back with some trading. Check out Vantage Point.
Stock trading can be difficult to navigate and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Vantage Point simplifies it with the use of artificial intelligence. Imagine if you had the power of machine learning right on your desktop, helping you determine the smartest entry and exit points in your trades. With sophisticated AI technology, deep learning, and algorithmic programming, Vantage Point combines a suite of predictive technical indicators into user-friendly software, helping traders identify the best market opportunities. AI goes beyond human skill. It's faster with incredible accuracy. Click the link below to see a free demo. No emotion, no regret, just the right trades at the right time.
There you guys have it. Definitely check it out. Link in the description below. Let's get back to the trading and what's going on out there, guys.
Yeah, the AMD, I'm out. It was an ugly loss. I'm out of AMD. Still in Tesla, still in TSM, waiting for this break of VWAP or 145. It's all you, Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to say, the chat has asked several times. Hopefully you don't cringe. Let's take a look at DWAC. Nick, what do you see on
DWACers? DWACers?
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to help the chat.
Hey, we made money on DWAC, so don't be hating, Mitch. Don't be hating.
It was on my screen yesterday. It was on my screen.
See, there you go. Let them know, Nick.
Hey, I trade tickers. I don't trade political bias or anything like that.
That's what I'm saying.
There we go. So are we looking short term, long term? What are we doing?
Well,
I
it
think
depends on what chat you're talking.
Yeah, coming from the chat, let's stick with short term.
Short term. Okay, so I see a ledge of sorts here, but I think these three candles is the story, and then this one kind of solidifies it. So you have tails down here, you have a tail up here that they overcame and just gave up, and this one gives you a line. So 72.9, the bulls need to recover that. And otherwise, they will need to hold this, or this candle's in danger. So if I'm trading it today, you have levels to short, but this is a crazy ticker. So I don't know how you guys short. Just buying puts. Hopefully, nobody shorts outright.
Yeah, I'm not risking my mortgage on it.
That's what I did.
In terms of shares. In terms of shares.
That's what I just did, Nick.
Yeah, stop it.
Okay, so if you're short, then you want to know that you don't want them to take that out. 73.20.
So yesterday we played this and we got the $70 calls for about $2 and some change, and then they went up 100%. So I sold out of them. I'm sure the chat may have as well.
All right, guys, stack on 310s for BBIG. Be careful out there. There's definitely some big sellers showing up on the offer side.
Look at that. They're picking on that candle.
310
right
is where I saw it really just click. You see that
this
150?
is the doji stomach of that
Boom.
one.
There it is. That's what I was looking for.
And now
I
let's
was looking
see.
for a little bit of a pullback. A little bit
That's
of a
the
pullback
level.
here.
Yeah.
Boom. I'll take it.
What were you looking at? 310. What was there a order flow or what?
Order flow there that was jamming on up. And then I saw it flow through and start flowing through on the time and sales. 8,000 shares at 313. That's where someone started stepping up.
That's the one thing I don't do because I don't trade this fast. But I see you saw it coming. So kudos. Good job.
Well, one of the things I like to do, Nick, is separate my time and sales to try to not pay attention to the algorithmic flow. I do still have a time and sales that's just showing me everything, but I have one that shows me separated by anything over 2,000 shares. So I'm looking for big boys, right? I'm trying to find a big boy that's jumping in and then ride the momentum. But we'll see what happens here on BBIG.
Yeah, that's a pretty good fight going on there. I'll take a look at JD. JD is still going on, the same thing. So you might have an opportunity to kind of like trade the whoosh off of this one. It's sad. It's too bad that we don't have like recent data on a 1 minute chart. So that might be too far out for the machines to care too much about it. But it's definitely a downtrend there here. TSM, is anybody still in that one?
Yep, still in that. I've still got the 140. Oh, where'd it go? 144 calls. I was up. Now I'm about 2% up. So nothing to write home about. But yeah, because you can see it on the 10 minute. If you want to pull it up on yours or mine, whatever. Bounced off of that VWAP once and twice. So I'm really still hoping for that 145
I'm having an
break.
issue with TradingView today. It's sporadically kicking me down to a lower level of permissions. So
we've been having some issues.
It happens once a year.
That's all right. Well, I've got it pulled up here. So you can see right here, first test on the VWAP, second bounced off. And this is the 10-minute candle that I personally like to look at. Still hoping for this to stay within this and then go ahead and pop above 145. This Tesla's trade has been barcoding for me here still. I mean, if it breaks this level and heads on down to 1095, I will go ahead and get out. And it's going to be interesting because Theta has been kicking me, and now I didn't get the move that I wanted either. And
now you got the market pulling too.
You chose this week's contracts, right?
Oh yeah, we like to live life on the edge.
So
it's a ramen or steak type of trade.
So you need to check on the volume. Help him out with the volumes on TSM on the 1 minute. The bears are setting a descending trend pattern, and it's going to be knocking against 143.05, and if you lose that, then you might be in trouble there.
You're talking about this right over here?
Yes, on the 1 minute. So if it's not a trend line, the behavior, the pop, they're selling.
You called it a behavior line, right? Is what you said?
Yep.
What'd you call it?
Yeah. It's behavior, like what's happening at the pop. How are machines acting? What's the code? Sell the pop code. I call it uptick mode.
So on here for BBIG, look how you have 400 stacked at 310. This is important. Now that's the big boy that I've been looking for, and now we're going to see which way he really ends up driving the market for me. On BBIG, you can see 420 just sitting there at 310. And that's
you guys have
a
fun show. I have to give you that. This is a fun show.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad, Nick. You know, we try to do a little bit of mix of everything here, and that's a little bit hard to do, but we definitely try to do it for everybody out there in the community. And the idea here is, like always, guys, it's not necessarily about the gains and losses, but it's learning from the process.
You need the pro habits. You don't need to be like a typical pro. You just have to have pro habits. And every pro I know that is successful has a method.
That is
method to the madness, baby.
100%.
A little update on my charts. You can see still waiting for that TSM. Hasn't quite broken VWAP. Tested it a couple of times. Going to go back to the 10 here. And you can see Tesla is now looking to go ahead and break that 1100 already kind of has by a couple of bucks. We've got about 7 minutes on this 10-minute candle. I'm hoping for it to come back like it did previously, but it ain't looking pretty.
All right, guys, we're getting towards 10:12 here, guys. Smash up that like. Let's keep it going. We had over 380 likes today. We're looking to get towards 500, so you guys do us a favor, as we're absolutely free. Hit that like button, and let's keep this show going.
And
on
Mitch, real
TSM,
quick,
you need 144.10. That's what you need, like right now.
Here, let's see. Let's go back to the 1 minute.
You need 144.10 right now.
And are you saying that because of that little candle above right here?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, that behavior, that white line, if you can move it a little bit to the right, just move it to the right. Yeah, so it's not drawing a line. Just move it.
Oh, like get it out of the way.
Yeah, no, not completely out of the way. Just lower it.
Almost like a channel, like drawing the channel.
Yes, just to fit. You know, it's not. Don't need to connect two lines. Just to. It's basically a little bit further, and then you can match up your levels perfectly.
No, not gonna lie, it's not working out for me. But I get the point though. So now let me ask you
how to do it, Nick.
It's because you're trying to break a lower high. It's because you're trying to get the higher high, right?
Yeah, I want to break out from the prior fail.
No,
that was the prior fail. That 144.10 versus a lower high trend. You don't want the bear to establish this. You want the bear to lose that. So they're trying to establish the smack the pops, and if they do, then your test will be the one below it, and you don't want that. So here are your three things: 2 lines and 1 method. So what's the behavior? And versus the 2 lines. I think the 2 immediate lines is 144.10, the top of this candle, and the bottom of this candle. That's your playground. And I don't know volume. Volume might give you more information about that. Mm-hmm. But what you want is the bears not to get this. They're trying to get this. Because then that is gone. So I think this is your battle right there. Here. And this is not a trend line where I'm like trying to match up lines. I'm not a trend line guy. I'm more of a level guy. So, but the behavior is very important.
I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of my Tesla calls, but this is interesting what you're telling me. I've got to pay more attention to it because I always look at the 10 and whatnot.
So higher lows, lower highs, coming to blows at a line that matters. Something's gonna give. So hit a drum roll for a couple minutes, and you're gonna get something going on.
Yeah, something's got to happen, right?
Yep. And this is how I manage my trades. These are my entries or my exits.
Guys,
like if I'm a bull,
I got to interrupt here, man. This is price action as good as it gets. 308 on BBIG. You saw 625 show up at that 308. So that's my spot now. Now that it's coming up back above VWAP, I don't want to let it break that 308 where I look for that big fish to have gotten in. So now we're going to look for that to hold. And we're going to look for a breakout here towards the 320s BBIG.
I put a line on it for you. That's your line.
Yep. Line in the sand. Now let's see it.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to avert this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The breakdown of the
this
pattern.
Is pretty cool. Those two charts right there. You just gave a lesson for somebody that likes to trade charts. That is, most people spend a lifetime not even knowing it's happening, which is the fight between level and trend. And that's the secret. If you can anticipate what's going to happen next, then you know how to manage your risk. Like if you're long on TSM, you know where you can draw the line. You know where you can call it quits. Like if you lose this one, I'd be out. If this establishes itself, whoops, keep moving the wrong line. If this guy establishes itself, then the rest of the day might not be as bullish as it has been so far. It won't be bad. I mean, they're still up 9%, but we're talking trade management.
That's what it's always about, guys. That's what it's always about.
I wish I could do this all day and nothing but this all day.
We all do.
We all
I don't think...
Somebody talk to Jason.
Right?
We'd have to marry the
what
crowds.
Jason's going to say, Zunaid. I can tell you what Jason's going to say. Figure it out. That's what he's going to tell you.
Cool.
That's what we need to do.
Then you know what we're doing on our Wednesday call.
And trade this.
On our Wednesday call, we're saying, hey, Andrew, Jason said figure it out. Therefore, we quit support. We quit affiliate. We're trading live all day.
I
figured it out.
Be branded
with his money.
any circumstance.
With his money.
Oh, yeah. No, Jason's funding the account.
Yeah,
It's Jason LLC, no question.
So if it's like paper poker, I'm all in all the time.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, everybody wins when they're playing for fun with funny money in poker because
Imagine the content if I got to trade with my boss's money. I mean, come on.
That's what happens.
That's a hit series.
That's what happens. Oh, the S&P, the ES is just puking itself here.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks
Look back in all my trades.
And the
Thanks for letting
VXX is
us
taking
know.
a pop. Look at the turnaround of the small caps.
Ouch.
What a beating.
Yeah, that's a crazy turnaround there. It's actually concerning me about my
Who
BBIG.
farted? Was there a Fed talking today?
Oh, there
there
was something
cornhole
happening
Fed
there.
talking today? Can we shut those guys up?
I think that would be best.
I mean,
You know what
what are they saying that they haven't said 1,000 times already? Don't they have a boss? They meet, they tell us officially what their stance is. They talk about it for a couple of hours thereafter with question and answer, and then all of them go out and blab their mouths off. About what? Imagine if Amazon's directors, after the earnings report, come out and say what they thought about the company publicly.
Yeah.
The boss speaks. That's it. All I need to know. I don't need to see the minutes, what they ate for lunch. Just tell me your policy, and we'll go from there. And otherwise, shut that. Can we cuss here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can go for it. That's what I have. The monetization off, so you can say whatever you want, Nick.
All
Enjoy.
right. Well, then they should shut the fuck up.
Hey, let them know. Let them know.
Real quick, one of the things that we said when Mitch asked what we were going to be looking at, one of the things that I told you I was going to be looking at today was the VIX. So I'm glad to hear you bring that up, Nick. One of the things that I've noticed is that especially recently, every time we've come into the lower 18s or the high 17s, we've bounced and we've gone back to a 20 handle. Here, it looks like we came all the way down to 1750, immediately reversed. We're pushing over 18 now. Let's see how high we can go on the VIX. But
So I'm going to give you a secret.
Yes, I love secrets.
Intraday, if you're fast trading and you want to see bias on the whole market, the VIX doesn't do you well. The VXX does you better. It's the ETN on the VIX futures. So it kind of, or the VX, the futures contract on the VIX, is more honest than the VIX, especially around Wednesdays when the VIX options expire. So the VIX is a good high level fear index. But this is basically inversely related to the S&P, for example. So upticks here or downticks in the S&P, and if you want to see levels and where the VIX, like right here, you shouldn't buy puts because the VXX is running into prior fails. So this is where the bulls find somewhat small footing. So if I'm panicking now, scrambling to sell my calls and buy the puts, this is not the place I would do it for short-term decisions. So intraday, put this on a 5-minute, not a 1 minute, 5 minute, never 1 minute, too many fake outs. It does you right to manage the fear behavior for the day.
All right, throwing up again here, guys. This is a 35% discount here for Nick's Options membership program. And what does this exactly come with, Nick, on a daily basis? What does this bring?
Well, if they're in the chat room, I don't know if that program, I didn't do the link, so I don't know what they're offering. But if they ask for the chat room option, you get me live all day, every day, and direct chat on any trade management issues, any trade opportunities. Like just this morning, I'll show you. I think this was it. This is a list of tickers that I had to do this morning, and I provided the charts with them and some notes as to what not to do, what to do. And NVIDIA was one, AMD was one, SBUX, Palantir. This one, somebody used bad words saying what's going on with it this morning. I kind of set them straight. PayPal, NeoHood. So I literally have thousands of people I'm supporting. And so my watch list is a zillion miles long. 135 tickers on Sunday, 2.5-hour video I had to do for them. You can't see my screen. I shared a window. Never mind. They're in front of me.
No worries. That's the gold. You can't give away the gold, Nick.
No, I give them away. So anyway, that's what they get. They get me. If they're in the chat room, they get me all day, every day. So you can chat about whatever you want.
Hey,
and I do share trades. My trade setups are 15-minute videos, unlike you, not minute to minute. and they have longevity. And my method is to find opportunities, sell risk where prices are not likely to go. it's hard to find out where things are going. Like if we go to BBIG, here we're managing it minute to minute, but it's hard to look out in the future and say where it's going to be. But it's much easier to say where it's not likely going to be. And if I can sell risk there and have it die in my favor, worthless to the buyer. So losing lottery tickets is a way of life. Boring is kind of beautiful in the setups that I have. And sometimes like Upstart, we nailed it a couple of times, as tricky as it was. And I just use fundamentals, charts, logic, macroeconomic conditions, and you have very few losses on credit spreads. That's what we do.
If I may ask you this, because obviously here we're fast trading, we're trying to get in and out within a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Any idea on how long you're typically in a trade? Because obviously our viewers, there's different types of traders, right? So some are mom and pop that are working. They can watch your 15-minute video. Any idea the duration of an average call for you?
I like 3 weeks. I don't buy a lot. I prefer to sell. So when I share a video, I share, here are ways you can do this. Here, first of all, here's the world, macroeconomics. Here's the thesis for the microeconomics for this company. Here's what I see in this company. And here's why I'm doing it today, the thesis. And then here's 4 ways of doing it. If you want to buy shares, of course, 5. You can buy calls, which ones? You can buy call spreads, which ones? You can sell a put if you want to own shares, or you can sell a put spread. Any combination of those would also work. So it's up to them what they choose. And I usually tell them what I would choose, which is almost always selling a put or selling a put spread. Often, every once in a while, I take a call and I get out as soon as I get X%. I'm not the guy to try to milk everything out of every trade. I'd rather have a win on my hand, and I'm okay seeing it run without me. And I've had a few doozies like that.
Yeah,
including owning VIX calls before the pandemic crash at 16.
Wow.
I thought I was a genius booking them at 50, and then they went to 80.
They went to 80s. Yeah, I remember that. You probably sold them to me.
That's a hell of a trade, though.
Nailed it.
That's awesome.
Nailed it, and then it goes, whoo. I'm like, man.
I know the link is acting up, but you guys have Jonathan Mallard's email address. So if you can't get access or something's wrong, email that guy. He'll get back to you.
Yeah, so this little guy is playing out the way we thought it would.
On BBIG?
BBIG.
Yeah, I'm still watching her. Let's just say now is when you get that moment where you're just like watching the stock and you're like,
check out that box I drew earlier. Look, it's still relevant.
That it is. It's definitely relevant. JD still holding there.
Yep. The battle is gone sideways. They don't go sideways that long for I mean, that's pretty long to go sideways when the markets are pooping themselves. So
yeah, that is.
So now you have action line here, depends on how you want to trade it, and then a whole floor here. So now you can actually draw a bigger box if you're somewhat a slower trader and you want to take advantage of another leg. So coming out of that box might carry in whichever direction they decide to come out. This looks like a liability.
Yeah. I was going to ask you why your box wasn't bigger to cover that wick, but is it because you don't like to look at the wicks, or is it because you want to see the close?
Because when I drew the box, the wick wasn't there.
Okay. So it was just because you drew beforehand.
I drew it here, and then the wick developed itself. So expect downside momentum. This is not the proper target, just downside momentum. I can't see what's to the left, and this looks labored because of that bear right there. Nice. And that's not a coincidence. That close.
Got a question.
Look at that candle.
Yeah.
Got a question in the chat, kind of more of a long-term question, but Miss Whitehorse saying, do you have a favorite stock, Nick?
Do I have a favorite stock? Today?
Right? It depends what day, right?
which one is making it? Yesterday, Baba was my favorite stock.
What's a stock that you're like, you know what, no matter what the market is, I know I can rely on a good odds and a good probability on this. Now, I know for you, it's a lot of stocks, but you know that one stock, you're like, I wonder what this is.
I've never lost money betting up on Tesla on a bad day. How about that? So I'm not a fan of Tesla, by the way. I am not a fan of Tesla, but I've never, I have showed it a couple of times, but when people hate it, if you sell puts or put spreads in it, I've never lost money. So that's and Amazon. So those are the slam dunk. DEFCON alert. Those are those are the slam dunk when people are panicking and grabbing puts. I'll tell you my favorite trade. So during the pandemic, the first whoosh we had, and then we had a secondary drop, AMD. So I sold a bunch of puts at 22 for October on the first drop, and I collected $2.20 at 20. So basically, somebody paid me, if I did 10, $2,200 to buy their shares. If it falls to 22, I'm sorry. And I would break even under $20 for owning shares. That was my worst case scenario, owning AMD at break even point of a little under $18. Sorry, $20. And then the stock popped. I didn't close it. I made money on it. And then we took a dump lower. I repeated it, and I sold July $20 puts for $2.20, almost exactly the same amount. Again, somebody panicked and told me, please buy my shares at $20. I would have broken even under $18. That was the easiest money I've ever made in my life. Wow. So clearly it didn't go there. So all the money they paid me just died in my favor. So during panic moment, if you know the stock, if you know the value, if you know you don't mind owning that stock at that price, selling a put to somebody who's panicking out of it at a level you trust, in a company you trust, easy money.
So at that point, you didn't do a put spread. You just sold a regular put because you were okay owning
AMD at $18.
Because you'd rather own it, yeah.
I'd own it immediately. Sell calls against it immediately. It's no brainer. I mean, if AMD is below $18, we have zombies in the street. That's a guarantee. So we've got other problems to worry about.
Trading at 137 now.
Yeah, I was confident of that fact. So I wouldn't do it as confidently now, because even though it's still a good value given these circumstances, it is still pretty far extended. And there's a little hole in its chart at around $60 or $80 where it just popped up. You can see they built a huge castle on top of a stick with holes. There it is on the left-hand side. A little bit more.
Oh, right here?
You can see it. That's all. Yeah. What is that all about? So it's just, you can't build that huge mountain on top of a stick with holes. Eventually, we will have to come to fix that. And it looks like a head and shoulders to the right of it. You see that?
Yep.
So I bet you in the next year or two, we will get an opportunity to buy AMD in the 70s.
Interesting. All right. And that's when you would probably look to sell some more
I would
puts.
do the same thing I did the other. Everybody would be panicking. The world is ending. Sell puts. I got your puts right here. Who wants sardines? Let's go get some sardines.
I love it.
So you should pay attention to, what is this chart? BBIG.
Yeah, you know it. You know it. Yep, yeah, definitely BBIG is fighting right now. 295s is really my out here. We'll see if it can recover 3, but bye-bye. Bye-bye.
She gone.
This is what I would say.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
That's hilarious. I love it. That's hilarious.
Got you, Nick. Got you, man.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so now you can't trust the optics.
Yeah, if I would look for a big candle up to 310.
Well, they will try to recover it. When you lose a
310.
neckline, they'll come back and bump against it. But if they don't get above this, what am I looking at here? JD. What are you looking at?
BBIG.
Okay,
so
JD just triggered what BBIG triggered earlier.
Yeah. All right.
Look at it. Look at it go. Whee.
Yeah, look at it go. There you guys have it. There's the flush down. The battle of that line. One thing that this trade does do is a one-in trade that I like, Nick, is the VWAP fade. So this trade actually went back to the VWAP 3 times and then gets crushed.
So there are programs out there that sell the pop or the dip into moving averages.
Yep.
So this is one of them. It's a similar trade. Ooh, what just happened? Holy cow. So same thing. And this is where people don't realize that machines behave based on math. and you give them something, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So go back, give me the screen again.
Yeah, you got it,
Please.
man. What's up?
Okay, so what time did we draw this? If you don't have people watching you and you draw this and then this price action happens almost like freaking exactly how you drew it, they call you a liar. And
That's how it is, right?
And they still don't believe in charts.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
I know how that goes.
It's like being blind to something so blatantly factual. We drew this live and the price was not even there. And then you saw the bid for that, and then 10 minutes later or whatever, boom, you get the pop. And it fails at the bear I pointed out, and then drifts and then loses the level and it goes down. Same story. Okay, we lucked out there. Same story here. We watched the box and we lost the box. Now the bears are in charge. So, and this happens on any time frame. We're looking at 1 minute time frame, but it's the same at 10, a day, a week, a month. I shorted EWG on a monthly chart and worked out perfectly. On a monthly chart, on a quarterly chart. So every 3 months.
It doesn't matter, right? Whatever time frame, you just got to stick to that time frame, know what time frame you're in, and daily moves, monthly moves, they happen, right? I mean, and if anything, what I always tell, and I talk about this often, Nick, here, is that when you can have multi-time frames pointing to a breakout or breakdown level.
When I'm in battle mode, like if I'm trading as fast as you are, I have 6 time frames for that ticker, including 15-second.
You hear that,
charts.
guys?
Yep. 15-second. I have 15-second, 30-second, 1 minute, 5 minute, and then 2 other windows for 15 and 30 minutes. So you would know the speed and who's in control at every, because the bears might be control on a low time frame and not so on the higher time frame. So you can see, handing over control from one person, from one side to another. So if you're fast trading and you don't have multiple time frames in front of you, you need that tool. Like right now, TradingView downgraded me, so I can't have multiple windows. This would usually have 6 in it, and that's what I share. I share 4 tabs of 6 each, and we keep adding to it. And I flip between the tabs. But today I'm restricted to 1 each. I don't know. I sent them an email. Look, see, I'm having issues with TradingView. My screen is live for the other group right now, but I'm not. They can't hear me, so I muted myself to them. So they're wondering what the fudge is going on here. And but this is battle station mode, and you need multiple time frames. There is no way, absolutely no way to do it perfectly as well as you can without having multiple time frame.
And I need you to come back for the battle mode for short term, so I can have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, because if you look at the sub 1 minute charts, they are gold. Absolute freaking gold. You can see the moves coming before anybody else can, literally, because you're looking at seconds and they're looking at, I mean, you have to be control. You have to be able to control yourself and not act on them. It's just informational to tell you, okay, this is what's happening. Like we could have seen this develop before the 1 minute watchers.
Do you have a video on like reading seconds? Because I'll be honest, I have never been.
I'll come on next time and I'll have it live. I'll come on next time and I'll show you sub 1 minute. They're oof.
Because I watch it for fun, it gives me that thrill. I never know what to do with it.
What just happened with Wish? That was a big
wish upon a star.
Someone sneezed.
Look at the size candle that is. That's another thing you should get. If you have Thinkorswim, they have volume bars. So it's the bigger the volume, the fatter the candle. And that candle is massive.
Yep. And one thing to note on that is that volume 934,000 shares in 1 minute compared to everything else where you're seeing only like 28,000 shares traded.
That stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yep.
Got another shout out here. Tinman here came to watch you live here as well.
Tinman, I know Tinman. He's pretty cool. He's in the group, that's for sure.
There you guys have it.
No wonder he's getting paid.
No, somebody in the group posted, "Hey, go support Nick. He's going to be on the show." So there might be a few people here. That's my peeps.
Man, come on over, guys.
Listen, we don't have one jerk. We don't have one jerk. It's freaking amazing.
We don't have one here either. We just boot them.
Well, I was going to say I had an issue with one person about a month ago, but we made up, and it was just a misunderstanding and some sort of a. And watch, let's see. I'm scrolling through like TSM. You ditched it, or you still long? You should have
I am.
ditched it.
Yep. This should when it broke VWAP right over here.
Okay, yeah, good.
VWAP
good.
is always my area to get in and get out.
So now you might have a respite, as they say. You have a set of candles around 141.8 to 141.3. There should be buyers in TSM, but we'll see. This was a pretty violent move, and it's not getting any help from the market, so that's contributing to the downside there.
Yeah.
So if you look at the VXX, that should tell you where the bears want to go. On a 5-minute candle, they're becoming stronger. And now the next level in the VXX that I'm watching is 17.9-ish, give or take a few.
Yep, right here.
So you want to see how they behave against that, and to see if the day is going to get worse. If they take out prior day high, forget about it, as they say.
They're calling it the Nick Army out there, man. You got Rickman in here, Rickman Dave. You got a couple of them in here. Definitely enjoying the day.
You know what I enjoy? I enjoyed a message from somebody yesterday. Maybe he's here. He sent me a direct message of a 5-figure day for me. Thanks a lot. So I was like,
wow, that's awesome.
Right? Can't go
awesome.
wrong with that, right?
Yeah. I said I should give you my money because he gets a 5-figure day because I'm tracking the charts, but I can't trade. I did trade and I fucked up yesterday. I had a 50% gain on one trade and I didn't get a chance to close it and just go poof.
Oh no.
Yeah, because by the way, so expiration days, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are fun days for lotto tickets.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so this is where you can spend 50 cents and make $4 out of it per contract. And so
I looked at my P&L in terms of like I always journal my trades and all that, and it's always like Thursdays and Fridays are like the most volatile days, and thankfully they're like the days where I end up taking like a good amount of profit and stuff. So yeah, Thursdays and Fridays is kind of like I love it, especially Fridays. It's a lot of fun, especially if you get a move in like Tesla and Amazon. I mean,
Yeah.
All
so
right, guys.
I'm hating this. So now you look at 4706 on the S&P minis. That's your relief. I mean, there's a zone just above it, 4710 to 4706. The bulls better show up there. Otherwise, this day is going to get fugly quickly.
Yeah, SPY's still battling down there. Let's go ahead. Let's take an overall look here of what's moving today, what's hot, what's not. This is what we like to do. I do this every day on Money Mitch, guys, and let's see what happens, what's moving out there. So utilities, what's hot here? PCYO, but definitely a lower traded name. Let's take a look at some higher capitalization. What are some of the top ones doing? NEE, interesting volume candle. Just went in on that one, but we'll see what happens. DUK, you guys know how I like Duke Energy into the utilities. Also, another one that I like often is POR, Portland, General Electric, but we'll see how these continue to move. Let's get a little bit into industrials. Industrials behind that from the open. I like to pay attention often the percentage from the open, and that's 0.35 on the upside on industrials. Let's see what industries are leading there. You got airlines leading you up there. You got a couple of airlines doing well today. HA doing well today. Hawaiian Holdings. You got UAL. You got AAL, American Airlines, all doing well today. JetBlue. All these charts looking very similar, trading hand in hand. SAVE and DAL. But definitely take a look at those today. Airlines doing decent. Also, you can see here rental and leasing not having a bad day, and farming and construction. Some of the stocks that I was going to watch in farming and heavy construction were CAT. Did we have a good day for CAT? That's actually looking really nice. Keeps holding the 50-day moving average as support. So you guys can watch CAT to see how that continues to move there. But DE is another one I would take a look at. It has 3 resistance up there by 382s. Pretty much 4 resistance up there. We'll see if it gets back up through that 382 level. That's dear. On the weak side today, you got technology down 1.33% from the open. What is really getting hurt the most there is electronic gaming and multimedia. Stocks like Roblox getting crushed today. Skills getting crushed. ATVI on the downside. NCTY. And I'd also call out Gravity. So some of these Roblox was in favor for a little bit there, has been out of favor. We saw a little bounce yesterday, but definitely still on the downside. You can see from this hourly chart how it's still pushing down pretty hard on the hourly. I would say the same thing probably for Unity. As you see, same thing, same kind of chart, guys. They trade hand in hand. We'll see how these continue to make moves. As you can see, electronic gaming and multimedia getting hit hard. Also, software application, which is some of the weakest stocks I think out there right now, like SPT. I definitely like this one to continue going down. Monday has been breaking down since 300. We've been looking at that one, and we'll keep watching some of these kind of software names that are really getting crushed.
Yeah, a lot of those growth names really getting spanked. You know, I'm looking around Square, Twitter, Affirmed, all just lower, really pounding the lows too. SoFi pounding the lows, lots of them.
Out 293s, guys, on BBIG. I stuck around long enough. I had such a small share size that I could stick around, but there's nothing going on there. They tried to battle it back to the threes, but they couldn't get it through the levels, so we're going to go ahead and get on out.
You might get another trigger right here, lower.
Yeah, no, literally trigger lower. That's why I'm not sticking around.
I think the book level is 288, 289. If they lose that BBIG whatever low they just set earlier, 294 or something like that.
Yeah, there's also a good trend line that comes into play, so we'll see how that comes into play here.
Yeah,
and I think if it breaks through there, yeah, you get that continuation. How's the JD, Monster? Did it completely stop or?
No, JD is trying to retest the neckline that it just lost. So this little
right
pop,
back on up.
The bears are still. This is where the bulls might get trapped if the trend line continues. So it could get saved by a bounce with the market. So if the S&P bounces off of its support here and the VXX fails off of its problem line, this one might be bailed out. So now your new box in JD, if you're trading it fast, is 73.16 and 72.96. That's your new box. The bulls want to pop. Oof, that's a big fat red one. Right through the lower end of that box I just drew. So yeah, if you lose, now this is 2 steps ahead, 72.75, you can reshort.
There you guys have it there. I love this trade really because, I mean, even before Nick was on, I was looking at JD short. Then you got Nick kind of walking us through the trade throughout. And this is exactly what you like to see, right? Multi perspectives, also looking at a chart and seeing kind of similar things. What do you got to do there is look for the strengths, right? Look for strengths in Nick's strategy, look for strengths in Zunaid's, like you look for it in Ryan and you look in ours. That's what it's always about. There's always strengths to traders. And if you pay attention, you'll be able to hear it. It's kind of like what I call the true knowledge behind every trader. When you feel them really feeling confident and they feel like they can repeat it, not on one chart, but multiple charts, what they're seeing.
Awesome. Real quick, forward through the highs of the day. Forward through 2530.
Forward, baby. Ford don't want to stop.
Nope. Nick, we had a question here in the chat. Hi there. Question for Nick. I'm long on Rivian and losing. Should I sell a covered call or puts? And of course, this is not advice. This is for educational purposes only.
So long, I assume long shares. Long how?
Yeah, that's what matters there. It's important.
Okay, so if I'm long shares Rivian, I would immediately sell calls as soon as I own the shares. Now, I have warning on selling covered calls, and you need to check your psychology on that one. 90% of people says, yeah, I don't have a problem selling the shares. Chicken out, and they end up buying the call for a loss to get out of the commitment. People are crippled. Oh my God, I can't lose my shares. They never sell a covered call that you don't intend to honor.
Yeah.
So when I sell a covered call, I don't defend it. If price goes through it, so be it. So goes my shares. Otherwise, you just defeat the purpose. You can defend it along the way by adding calls and negate it, but it's just ridiculous. So yes, I would sell calls. Puts won't help you except to stave off, to stop the bleeding. Rivian, let me go to a daily to get a perspective. It's okay. Let me take out all the lines so I don't come with bias. All right. So what's going on with Rivian is that the bears are in charge. They're selling all the pops. So it must hold these wicks and this level. Clearly, if you lose this one, you have another leg lower. The problem is the P&L doesn't defend it, right? It's fairly new. There's nothing coming in, very little. So you can't say lean on the fundamentals. Okay, this is a bottom. So I wouldn't add. I would sell covered calls. I would buy puts through an earnings headline just to protect the oh shit moment. I wouldn't add. There's a way of adding, but it's pretty tricky. It kind of doubling down without money out of pocket. You end up buying a call butterfly where the last call is actually the shares you own. So if I own 100 shares, the butterfly is you buy a call, you sell 2 calls, and you buy a call above it. So if I own 100 shares, I buy a call, I sell 2 calls, and I own shares. That makes a butterfly. So if the stock pops halfway, it doesn't cost a lot to do. If the stock pops halfway, I can get out of everything, even money, without having to put money out of pocket. But it's pretty tricky. You need to study it well before you try it if you're trying to get out of it. But if you're trying to hold it for the long term, don't add. Sell covered calls to make it work. Buy puts for protection temporarily. You can't just buy puts all the time. They're very expensive. Buy a put spread that kind of gives you some protection if you want. Those will be the tricks to do. And revisit the reason why you got in. So when you get in, that's another one. Why did you get in? If you didn't have a reason, then, and by the way, I thought it was going to go up. That's not a reason. I thought it was going to go up because, okay, then there's a reason. So revisit the reason why. Get smaller. A really good trader I know, she said, when I get in trouble, and she managed hundreds of millions of dollars, I got smaller. When you think you're in trouble, reduce your exposure.
Absolutely.
That's the best thing you can do. I talk about it all the time, and the way that I talk about it is know when to press the brake and know when to press the gas. It's probably the top skill you can have in trading. What do you think about that, Nick?
Yeah, don't be down 50%. Set a stop loss. So I have rules. NT is one of them. No trigger, no trade. And the T could be a thesis. No trigger, no trade. No thesis, no trade. Because then you know to test it. Should I still be in this trade if the reason is gone? Also, another rule: don't take a trade without a stop loss and a stop gain, whatever you want to call it. Have exit strategies. If this, then that. So it's usually either a money, I'm down X percent, or I'm down X dollars, or the stock lost X level. And so it's either something on the chart, or the reason I got in, if I didn't chart trade it, I got in because I thought Rivian was going to come out with a new model or whatever, and then they said no new models. Then that reason is gone. Then that's also a reason to get out. So if you know it, if you don't have a reason, then you don't know when to call it quits. So I agree with you, definitely. People come, so I'm down 50% on the stock. Well, you should have stopped out, or on the call, you should have stopped. Sometimes it gaps down. Like if you were long bib. Oof, speaking of gapping down, don't look at the S&P. If somebody woke up after the recent ruling on Biogen, you can't do much about it if you're down 50% on a call you just bought. But that doesn't happen often.
Mitch, shout out to you having the brake and gas pedal reference to a guy whose Twitter handle is Racer Nick. That was pretty clever on your part to try and bring that one
up. What can I say? My man Nick, the option junkie here. All right, guys, let's go ahead. If you guys want to go ahead and check out, also, I'm going to throw up one last time for you guys that are not Benzinga Pro members. You can get that 35% off Nick's option mentorship program. And
so they are getting the Benzinga Pro, then they're definitely in the chat room with me.
That's what happens. So
they get me all day, every day, whether they like it or not.
Exactly.
And I'm going to leave you with a trade here. I think JD, if it loses 72.74 convincingly, I think it loses another, I don't know, 40, 50 cents from there. So I don't know how well you can trade it. So 72.30 is, or lower, is doable. It looks like, I can't see the left side of it, but it looks like a neckline for, I call them ladybugs. It's an inverse cup and handle-ish. It's a neckline that they don't want to lose, that they set at 7:32 my time. So 20 minutes ago, there was a flash low and they bounced off of it. And here they are back at that flash low level. You lose that level, you lose a neckline. They'll pop to try to recover it. So they could pop back to 72.9. That'll be fine. but I think they will continue lower to bleed lower to maybe even 72. I don't know how big the left side of that inverse cup and handle. I'm looking at 1 minute, so I don't see to the left of it. Thanks to trading view blinding me. Whoa, there it goes.
Yep. I think you eventually could get down all the way to 70. I don't know why that.
Yeah, well, I can't see here. I don't know why. What's going on? What's happening here?
Yeah,
What's
there's
to the
a
left
time
of this?
frame.
Oh shit! Yeah. So
it's a gap that has
okay.
a high there of 69.74.
So check it out though. So this tool, harmonictrader.com, I think Scott Carney is the guy that made this tool. It automatically draws harmonics for me. So it has an HOP, which is, I believe this is harmonic optimal price. And so it drew itself. So that's not a trigger to go trade it. It says, go look for a long trade. So now you should be looking for a long entry on a 5-minute chart. On a 1-minute chart, you could scalp a few losses there. And so anywhere around here, you should pull up another set of tools like an RSI, or they offer their own RSI. I forgot what they call it, modified RSI or something. And if you see uptrend in the RSI or a double bottom in the RSI, then you say, okay, I'll go long, because the harmonics doesn't have an actual line to cross. It says there's an opportunity for a swing back and hunt T1. T1 is up here. So that puts you halfway into the gap. Why did it gap down today? Do we know?
No, I just think it was just it's not news. This is just kind of an overextended move.
So if this is correct, I would enter long somewhere around the 72-ish, 72.20, 72.30, something like that, with a tight stop. And maybe you ride it back up to 75.
Real quick on JD, our news desk did print out a why is it moving for this. Shares of Chinese companies are trading lower following a drop in December bank lending in China. It looks like it's hitting a broad base.
Nick, don't worry. We know what that is. Don't worry about that one.
Okay. So entry opportunity for swing 274.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap on up. Thank you for joining us, Nick, today. I really appreciate it. We'll definitely have you back.
Yeah.
And if you guys definitely check out the Nick Option Mentorship Program, if you guys want to learn more, Racer Nick, guys. Also in the description.
All day. Oh, nasty.
Description below, guys. You got his Twitter. Hit him up. I want you guys to bother Nick. Be like, we want you back on live trading.
You want my phone number?
Oh, trust me. If I was Jason, I'd probably give it out, but I ain't gonna give it out for you, Nick. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap it on up. We'll see you next time, Nick. Now, Zunaid and Ryan, I want to go to you guys. How was your day? What did you guys see? And what are you guys going to be looking forward to?
It wasn't pretty today. It was not pretty today whatsoever. When I go back and journal these trades, I'm going to talk about the fact that I didn't scale out. I had an order out on Tesla to go ahead and sell it at about $5.80. It went to all $5.70. I didn't scale out. So when I go ahead, I'm going to see, hey, I knew the level was there. I got maybe greedy for 10 cents, and it cost me about $1 or $2. So not the best day for me whatsoever. This break of 145 in TSM didn't happen. So not a pretty day, but we'll be back tomorrow, or at least I will trading-wise. I think we've got all access tomorrow, but not a pretty day for me, and that's okay. That's why we have the frozen butter chicken. When we make money, we get the actual good butter chicken from the restaurants, right?
And that is correct, because I actually did get butter chicken last night, and I did have a pretty good day today so far. I as I said when we were first talking about what's going to happen. Say again.
I said, there we go.
So, I'm happy. When we were talking about what to look for today, I told you I think my gut said we're going to sell off here because the VIX was into that 18 and sub 18 level. That's exactly what we've seen so far. We'll see what happens the rest of the day. What kept me green today was the BBIG scalp. We played that perfectly. We played it for just a little bit. It's what's keeping me green here today. So I'm not going out to a restaurant again tonight, but I'm not hurting. So tomorrow is another day, and we're going to be right back at it. My thing is do we continue the selling pressure throughout the rest of the day? Don't know yet. We'll have to watch and find out.
All right, guys. My day consisted of that JD short. At least it was the trade of the day for me, guys, on the short side looking for JD, and it worked out. I maybe didn't get the top shares, but I hope someone out there was able to nail it down just as much as we did. But mentioned in the chat by Bill, he's saying that Nick could also be a kind of a smooth jazz late night station, kind of like this.
Mitch just has that ready to go.
He's been waiting. He's been waiting.
Oh, this is my jam right here.
I love it.
I jam all day to that one. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here on Live Trading. But like always, guys, this show is sponsored by Vantage Point. We're going to go ahead and play a little trailer here to teach you a little bit more about what Vantage Point AI has to offer you. Until next time, Ryan and Zunaid, I appreciate you guys getting on out of here. And like always, guys, smash that like button.
Take care, everyone.
All right, Ryan. Oh, I wanted to keep Ryan for a second there. I wanted to get into a little bit of Al Harrington. Should I show it right quick? Oh, I only got 2 minutes there. All right, let's show a little Al Harrington here. If you guys don't know who Al Harrington is, he's going to be coming up on Benzinga Live, guys. So definitely check out, guys. Up next on Benzinga Live, you guys will get Al Harrington. This is the CEO of YOLO. So definitely, guys, check it on out, guys. I would definitely go to Benzinga Live today. Spencer, AB are going to be more than excited to have Al in the house at the office, but definitely check that on out, guys. All right, guys, now let me go ahead and cue up this video, and then we'll be taking on over to Benzinga Live.
Welcome, everyone. We're back here once again with Daniel Santiago, the Vice President of Strategic Engagements at Vantage Point AI. Daniel, thanks for being with us again. Can you recap for us quickly what we covered in the last conversation, some highlights and some key things that stood out in our first conversation about Vantage Point?
Yeah, Michael, thank you for having me back. I really appreciate it. You know, it's always a pleasure working with you guys. And last time we talked, you know, we covered where Vantage Point came from. And that's really key, because the artificial intelligence that we've been using in Vantage Point has been available for traders to invest in and use in their trading since 1991. We talked a little bit about Louis Mendelson, our founder, who started our company back in 1979 using strategy backtesting. And we've just come so far along the way. Michael, one of the key things that I'd love everybody to know is that the technology that we're going to dig into today, what it's doing and how it's doing it is just, it's unavailable anywhere else in the world. We have 2 patents on this technology. And what we're doing here at Vantage Point is called intermarket analysis. And the reason I say it like that is because when you break down what intermarket analysis is, it's the ability to analyze relationships between the markets. You see, Louis Mendelson, when he started this organization, if you guys caught the last clip, when he started this organization, it was back in '87 with Black Monday, when the markets crashed around the world and realized that the markets were global and interconnected back then. When he realized that was the case, that's when he moved away from backtesting into forecasting trends with AI because of those global market relationships. So what I'd like to do today is just dig into what the technology is doing, and how it's doing it, so that the listeners can really understand the real value in using artificial intelligence this way today. You know, I mentioned before too, some of the things that traders are trying to accomplish is to figure out what's going to trend, right? When's it going to trend? The direction, how strong is that trend? Does it have momentum? If you're a swing trader and you're looking for the next best opportunity, answering those few questions can really set you up for success. Well, what we're doing here at Vantage Point is we're using artificial intelligence to do non-linear pattern recognition of the markets. And what I mean is the AI is able to take in mass amounts of data from around the world, foreign data, domestic data on stocks, on ETFs, on different futures, cryptocurrencies. It takes in data. You know, when you think about currencies like the yen is probably impacting every market around there. Gold, oil, these are nucleus markets that you know are driving and impacting what we're trading. Well, what the Mendelsons have done with the artificial intelligence is utilize it to take in all of that massive data. We've heard the term big data before. AI has the ability to process millions of data points to figure out what is influencing, what is driving the asset that you're trying to trade, that we can call the target market. Because if you can figure out what is driving what you're trading or looking to trade, then the likelihood that you can figure out where it's going to go is extremely high. Now, we have the ability to forecast trends up to 3 days in advance with up to 87.4% accuracy. Let me show you what I mean. Let me just walk you through the details here so that you get a good understanding of what the AI is doing and how it's doing it. I mentioned the term intermarket analysis, Michael. Let's break down what that really looks like. If you're looking at the screen right now, you'll see that there's two charts on the screen, one for AMD and one for the E-mini NASDAQ. Well, when you take a step back, it's kind of obvious, right? That AMD, the price action for AMD is taking the same track at the same time that the NASDAQ is. Or I like to always throw out the other side of things. Maybe the NASDAQ is taking the same track AMD is, right? Regardless of which one you believe is what, they have a parallel relationship, right? That makes sense, Michael, right?
Absolutely. Love that.
Well, if they have a parallel relationship, if they go up at the same time, not exactly at the same time, you can see there's some differences in the price action, but if they go up at the same time, well, if you're going to trade AMD, then it just makes sense. You should probably go take a look at the NASDAQ or vice versa to get that extra step of confirmation. I like to call this a golden nugget because you don't need artificial intelligence to eyeball two charts and just look at the price action for two charts. Once you know that there's parallel relationships there, you can already enhance what you're doing with your trading. Just realize for a moment that not all markets just go straight up like the ones we looked at. Here is the XLF ETF, the financial sector ETF, and Bank of America laid on top of each other. A little more volatility, right? But you can see for the most part, when one goes up, the other goes up. When one goes down, the other goes down. There is a parallel relationship here. And I know a lot of options traders that love doing options on Bank of America, right? Whether they're collecting premium or they're trying to do some simple verticals, Bank of America is one of those stocks. Well, if you take a step back, this parallel relationship is obvious. I know that. But I can assure you of the people that I've talked to over the last decade that I've been involved in this artificial intelligence, a lot of those people aren't looking at XLF before they decide to make a trade on Bank of America. Well, XLF is the financial sector ETF. Bank of America is part of that sector. It only makes sense that if I'm going to go risk my hard-earned money on a trade, that I get that extra level of confirmation. Well, this concept is the beginning of what we call intermarket analysis. Looking at one market and analyzing that market, and then looking at another one to see if I'm getting the same sentiment, if you will, by looking at that other market. Now, we've talked, Michael, about parallel relationships, but there's also the inverse relationship that's out there. You know, sometimes you hear gold being called the safe haven. And that's because a lot of the times throughout the year when the markets tumble, people turn to gold. That might be cryptocurrency now, but people were turning to gold and they were calling gold the safe haven. Well, that's because they have an inverse relationship. So some of the relationships out there we know are parallel and they're obvious. Some of them are inverse and they're also obvious. But realize one thing, this inverse relationship, it's not the same year round. It's not there year round. Certain parts of the year it's stronger. Sometimes when the market is going up, gold is also going up. And that's where it makes it humanly impossible for this kind of analysis to be done in a way that can create consistency day in and day out. It becomes humanly impossible to get more than one chart laid on top of another chart. And that's where the artificial intelligence excels. Because what I can't do as a human, AI has the ability to do by looking at the data. So what we utilize the AI for is to figure out which markets are driving which markets, the direction they could be pushing that market, because, you know, S&P could be pushing gold up at different times of the year and pulling it down with it at different times of the year. So we've got to get that directional bias in there as well. And we also have to know the degree of impact, right? AMD may not have a huge impact on the NASDAQ. Bank of America may have a huge impact on XLF. And you see, Michael, when you start to think about, when I start to throw these questions out there, these points out there, it starts to become really hard to really realize, how could I use this without the benefit of artificial intelligence, right?
Got it. Yeah.
I mean, when you sit back and think about it, it's like, well, If I was trying to do this at home by myself and figure out which markets are driving which markets, the direction they're going to push those markets, and how strong they could push them, the wheels fall off. And that's where we've applied artificial intelligence. And one of the patents that I spoke about before is on this process called intermarket analysis. Literally the process of taking in all of that data, analyzing that data, the open, the high, the low, the close, the volume, the open interest data that's available out there everywhere, using that data to figure out what's influencing what it is you're trying to trade. Because realize one thing, these relationships are there. There's no disputing that. The markets are global and connected. There is no disputing that. Some of the influencing factors you can see, some of them you can't see with the naked eye. I love this picture of the iceberg, Michael, because it reminds me of the Titanic, right? At the time that the Titanic hit the iceberg, they could see the ice that was above the surface. They didn't have the sonar technology to see how big the ice was below the surface. Well, just like with the Titanic, in your trading, those are the relationships. Those are the hidden patterns that can really hurt you, the ones you can't see with the naked eye, the ones that you need special technology like artificial intelligence to see. And that's why this technology has been working so well since 1991. We're talking about over 30 years that traders have been able to apply exactly what I'm talking about from an intermarket analysis standpoint to their trading, because what it's been doing has been proven, it's patented, it's helped a lot of traders be extremely successful, and it's doing it because we know the markets are global. We know the relationships are there. The artificial intelligence is able to work through all of that data and figure out exactly how to use it to determine where those trends are expected to go. All right. And Michael, this is just the input, right? This is the beginning of it. The AI has to pull in all of that data to do the analysis, to do the intermarket analysis, figure out the directional bias, the degree of impact, figure out which markets are impacting which markets. That's like, when I describe that, it's like popping the hood on a car and seeing the engine. That's the engine. That's the patented process. Well, if you're like me, you want the keys to the car. You want to drive that thing. And that's where the second patent comes into play. That's where the ability to forecast trends comes into play, because the engine is powerful. We know that. It's patented. It works. We walk through how it works, so you understand the big picture there. But the real key for traders is how you use it. The key here is, how do I transform all of that data into usable data? And we're going to go into that next. But I want to really quickly give you an image of how this artificial intelligence can work. Let me just change my screen here for a second, and I'm going to go into Vantage Point software for a moment. And I want to go into it because I'm going to bring up Southwest Airlines really quickly. And I want to show everybody how that intermarket analysis is working. And if you look at the screen right now, you'll see that there's a chart on the screen with Southwest Airlines right in the middle. Well, if you take a step back and you see Southwest Airlines, you can see that this is what we like to call the target market. This is the market that the AI is analyzing to figure out what's influencing it. You would expect Alaska Air, right? You would expect Delta Airlines. You would expect, these are competitors. These are people in the same field. These are companies that do the same thing Southwest does, JetBlue, right? And you can, United Continental, you can look at this list and realize that makes sense, right? Those are surface level relationships. They're in the transportation sector. Well, wouldn't you expect to see the transportation sector in there? Absolutely. See, what the AI has done is it has gone out and analyzed over 10,000 markets around the world and figure out what is influencing Southwest Airlines. And then it's grabbed the top 31 of those markets, let's say. And that's what you're seeing on the screen. Now, where the AI really excels is the S&P is in here. Light sweet crude is in here. You think light sweet crude has an impact on airlines, right? The price of fuel, jet fuel. Interest rates are in here. The euro, we talked about that, and the yen, some other currencies. But take a look at this. Caesars Entertainment. This is where you and I would never be able to figure out that Caesars is impacting Southwest Airlines, let alone figure out the degree of impact and the directional bias. That's why this artificial intelligence is so key, because I haven't met a single person that has told me that the markets are not global and are not connected. Every person that I talk to these days tells me that they believe that, they know that, and they want to be able to use that to their advantage. That's what the AI is doing. You can see it on the screen. Look at this one, Boot Barn. What in the world does Boot Barn have to do with Southwest Airlines or McCormick Spices? What in the world does that have to do with Southwest Airlines? And here's what I have to say. It doesn't matter why it's in there. What matters is that the AI has done the work behind the scenes. It's done the work for you, right? It's analyzed the markets to figure out these relationships. It's figured out how much these relationships are impacting Southwest Airlines. And then the next step that we're going to dig into here momentarily is how those relationships can be utilized to figure out when a stock is expected to start trending up, down, sideways, how strong it's expected to trend, whether it's building momentum or not. And that's really the keys to this, because that's what traders are looking for. If you can tell me when a stock is expected to start trending with, heck, let's call it 80% accuracy, and you can tell me how strong that trend looks to be compared to another one, well, that puts me in the catbird seat, right? That puts me in a position to be handsomely rewarded if I play my cards the right way.
That's great. Amazing run of information there. And I think we got so many good data points out of that. So then let's close it by talking about what you just referenced and digging further into. How exactly does that intermarket analysis help the traders? What's the real value that comes out of this data being pulled in by the AI?
Sure. Yeah. Well, as a trader, understanding what's expected to trend and when it's expecting to trend is key. So the artificial intelligence in the software has the ability to create what's called a predicted moving average. And, I'm going to walk through this in the future. We have a little bit more time, but the predicted moving average actually has predictive information in the formula. What I mean is, you see, the AI has done that intermarket analysis, Michael, and it's figured out what's influencing it. It's figured out all of that data, and then it uses that data to predict tomorrow's price, the next day's price, and the price after that. Typical price, an average price. It uses those 3 days of predicted values to create indicators that are no longer lagging indicators. See, the problem with simple moving averages or exponential moving averages or MACD or stochastics, RSI, I can list off lists of indicators. The problem with those indicators is that they lag the market. They ignore the fact that the markets are global and interconnected. Well, by taking the AI, by using the AI to create predictive information and then completely transforming those lagging indicators into market leading indicators, that's where traders get the real information. And that's the second patent that we have, by the way, is actually taking simple indicators or lagging indicators and transforming them with predictive information into predictive market leading indicators. And, I'm excited for when we can dig into that detail a little bit more so that you can understand how you would apply this day in and day out.
Awesome. Cannot believe how much great information we've gotten from you already. 2 episodes in, 2 appearances, and we have gotten a wealth of information looking into the AI software. Daniel Santiago, Vice President of Strategic Engagements at Vantage Point AI. Daniel, we'll be back with you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There you guys have it. Definitely check out VantagePointSoftware.com, guys. You guys can also find it in the description below. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead up and wrap on up here on live trading. So up next, you guys got Benzinga live. Yes, I said it, with Al Harrington. You guys go check it on out, guys. If you guys want to go ahead and see that, definitely smash the like. Stay right here, and I'll bring you guys right over to Benzinga live coming on up. We got about 4 minutes to that start, so I'm going to take a quick look at the overall market here before we get on out. What we do is the SPY's finally starting to catch a little bit of a bottom there by the 469.50s. I want to make sure that holds and we can get back above 470. But definitely a tough day with the SPY so far. Utilities up, leading us the most here from the open, about 0.55, and then behind that, industrials 0.52, and that's changed from the open. Some stocks that have been doing well consistently today is CAT. I definitely take a look at CAT and DE. Those are industrials. But you could also take a look at today. Some airlines doing really well today. AAL doing well today. You could take a look at some of those. As you can see, the industry is up about 3% today. So you got Hawaiian Holdings doing well. UAL still doing well. So take a look at some of those stocks, Save, JetBlue, but some auto manufacturer like Ford. Look at the day that Ford's had up there towards 2550s. This is looking interesting as we held the pullback there, pushing on up there to 2550s and really pushing there in Ford. All right, let's go ahead. Looks like Hertz just brought some GoPro. I'll take a look at it. I got no problem. Daily chart has it going sideways. I would look for a breakout through the 11. But I don't blame you, at least right now, off these levels. But it is kind of a slower chart today. We'll see if it can get back on up there, push on up through the 1060s and get towards 11. If it does get to 11, I think you have a good look for a breakout. All right. Did Russia invade Ukraine? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't been watching the news right now. I've been trying to trading, so definitely smash the thumbs on up. The Benzinga guy himself looks like an AI. Who's the Benzinga guy? All right, guys, definitely smash the thumbs on up. Brain hurts reading this. We'll end up seeing it. That's always how it is. Let's go ahead. What else is moving on out there, guys? Easy hearted at it again. You know it, easy. All right, guys, going to wrap on up here. It's 11:18. Up next, you got Benzinga Live. There's BA moving today. Yeah, nice little day for Boeing. CCL also mentioned by Quantum here. So definitely reopening play, doing well right now. Whether it be Carnival Cruise Line, whether it be the airlines right now. I mean, definitely reopening trade is on. Yeah, Boeing, strong one right now. I definitely wouldn't take my eyes off of it. Nice little holds of VWAP pushing on up there towards 226. We'll see how this one ends the day, and we'll continue trading, guys. Today, my trade of the day was JD. For short side, that's what I was looking for. I wasn't able to nail all of this. I only was able to get the first profit down towards the low. Then I took the rest of it off at 73.58s, but could have held there and got a bigger trade there. But hey, that's how it is. That's how it goes. You don't always get what you are looking for. But definitely JD, not a bad trade on the downside today. As you can see, some trades to the upside, some trades to the downside. We also saw BBIG moving around. Now it's starting to come back up to $3. We'll see how it gets strong here at VWAP. I definitely keep an eye out on this one. Saw a lot of traders trading this one. It could get hot going into the afternoon, and I'm sure that on Benzinga Live, they're going to take a look at BBIG a little bit after the Al Harrington and see how it performs. If not, I'll definitely jump in there and check it out because I'm definitely keeping this one on radar today. So that's BBIG. We'll see if it can continue making its move on up. And another one that I was looking to see if it was going to catch a bounce was Steel Dynamics, and it is catching that bounce. We'll look for it to take out the high again and continue its daily move. This is one that I've been giving on Money Mitch, looking for that extension up there towards 67. This is Steel Dynamics, the steel play. But definitely, if you look at basic materials, they weren't the leaders today. You did have some on the downside like silver and gold and coal, but you did have on the upside lumber. Lumber is pushing on up there. So EVA is one that I'd give out to keep your eye on lumber. Also, you could look at BCC. We'll see if this one can get through 75. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. 11:20 up next. You guys got Benzinga Live. Stick around, guys. Smash that thumbs on up, and we'll see you on over there at Benzinga Live.